Yeah, hello. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. Uh, this is from our business webinar series. We offer a valuable learning experience from the comfort of your own office. Okay. In our broadcast for understanding better, we have decided to reach out to our customers and help them explore the benefits and unleash their true potential. Okay, this is a knowledge series where you will learn about everything that we have to offer you, from the most basic features and to the most crucial business reports and everything that you may require for to take your business to the next level. My name is Zuhair, and I work with Mars Financial Consulting in Riyadh, and I will be your host for this session. With me is Mr. Baseeth, a tally specialist and a senior consultant at a company who has been working for almost 10 years in this field. He has worked with customers to understand their needs and improve their experience, and also introduce new features in Tally. And just before we get started, to ensure that we all have a flawless experience, please stay muted and ask your questions by typing them in the question box on the left, and I'll address them during the Q&A at the end. This session is being recorded for future reference and will be shared on our YouTube channel. And for our YouTube viewers, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below the video. We aim for an uninterrupted session, and I apologize in advance if there is any network or technical issues. I will do my best for a seamless experience. Now I hand over the presentation to Mr. Baseeth. Yes, Baseeth, go ahead.
Thank you, Zuhair. Thank you for the introduction. And let me start by saying thank you for our wonderful attendees for this webinar. By being here, it shows your pursuit of continued learning. I hats off to that initiative. So now the topic of this webinar is mastering the art of receivable management. So this is something is a very core part of our business, right? Everybody who've been an accountant have spent considerable amount of time in their career doing this specific activity. And we are going to see what are the challenges that normally come across in receivable management, and what are the strategies that can be implemented to overcome those challenges. You might see some simple strategies that maybe you will say, oh, this is something that I know. And in most of the cases, what happens is that in most of the business, the simple strategies are failed to get implemented. That leads to improper receivable management. So we see what are those challenges again and how to overcome with the strategies and tactics. Now, this is, as I said, something every business, every accountant have done this, and at some point in their time had a situation where you guys are struggling with payments and inconsistent cash flow. I don't have to say the disadvantages of having inconsistent cash flow, right? And what that leads to. It creates a negative impact to a greater extent on the business. So making sure proper cash flow is there in the business is a very crucial part of the business. So I would give equal amount of importance as sales. So how a business need sales to survive, it also needs proper receivable management strategy to stay in the business to make sure that they have a proper cash flow. So I recently come across a reels from Instagram. So I just want to show you. So this is something. So this video that you have seen now, this is something like lot of accountants or lot of salespeople or the business owner can able to relate to, right? So the happiness you feel when you receive the payment from the sale you made is a experience, as I said, only can experience by the business owners or the accountant who really tried hard to make sure the payment is collected on time. So today's webinar is all about how to sustain that smile on our face throughout the business year, throughout the months. Now, again, just to focus on the point in hand, late payments can severely affect your cash flow, right, and disrupt your business in a great extent. So to overcome this, there is only one solution, which is to get the payment on time and every time, right? So we make sure the invoice get paid on time and every time for each of those invoices. Now, what are the challenges, right? So most of these activities are still followed by users, meaning human in most of the companies, right? Follow-ups, right? So it's a user-based tedious activity, right? So if you have 10 customers or if you have 100 customers, the follow-up has to be done manually. Either you call them, either you send them a mail, either you SMS them, WhatsApp. So the activity is a tedious task, and once again, it's a user-based task. So this leads to gap in following up, and this leads to breakdown in the proper routine. Now, the other problem that companies face is that unclear payment terms. In a day-to-day business activity, some of the business just focus on making the sale. They forget to realize the importance of the clear payments. So that leads to customer is coming under an impression, okay, so we can pay later, we can pay when we want. So there is a saying, like for example, if it is a 30 days due date, it's actually 60 days for the customer. And if it is 60 days, it is 90. And if you have given 90 days due date for a customer, you can forget about the collection. So there is a joke that we used to say. So it is essential for the business to have a clear payment terms when it comes to receivable management. And other indirect challenges are late invoicing, right? So sometimes what happens is that let's say if you are dealing with the delivery of goods, so you may not be able to issue invoice till you complete the whole order. So let's say if you're doing a partial order, you won't be able to invoice till you complete the order. So we need to make sure that proper invoice is done or proper delivery is on time. So let's say you have received an order for 100 pieces of an item that you have, and you made a delivery on 1st May, and then the second delivery is happening after a month or something. So you have inadvertently give already a 30 days credit, because the credit terms kicks in from the date of invoice, but you made the delivery on a month back. So even if the customer is having a 30 days credit, you have inadvertently give 60 days credit for the customer. And there are other examples for late invoicing, and we will see how to overcome these challenges also. And then finally, and the most important one also, improper communication or poor relationship with the customer. So this is also a key area where a company needs to train their users on what are the proper protocol in terms of following up for the payments, as well as having a general relationship with the customer. Now, as we have seen the challenges, let's see how we can overcome some of the challenges. So two of these challenges, invoicing, which is prompt invoicing, and follow-ups, can be automated. Nowadays, if you choose any software in the market, it doesn't have to be Tally, it doesn't have to be a big branded ERP. Any software is having an option to do automated follow-ups as well as automated invoicing. So what is automated follow-ups? You can set a reminder and you can set a term due date for a client, and then you can set when the reminder should go to the customer, whether it be emailing a statement of accounts to your customer on a given date, let's say 3 days before the due date, or following up on a frequency to make sure customer is reminded of the payment, right, can be set automated. And this can be achieved through a combination of application or within your existing application itself. So essentially, this will transfer the tedious task of following up from the user to the system. Now, as a user, the person has to oversee the overall activity. he will see how the follow-ups are happening, right? And how the customer is reacting to it, and he will do corrections as he proceeds. So this is in terms of follow-up. So these automated follow-ups can be done with SMS, done with WhatsApp, email, and in some cases it can be done with the calls also, automated calls. This is something that some of you might have experienced. Sometimes you might get a call, and then it will just give you what are all the what is the outstanding amount on your account and what are ways to pay, right? So all this can be implemented. A collection of, depends on your business, a collection of method can be implemented to automate the follow-ups. Now let's come to invoicing. How we can automate the invoicing? So there are multiple ways available in any application to track what are all the pending deliveries, right? What are all the pending orders, and checking against that on a regular in time interval gives you a idea of what are all the pending invoices to be issued. So with that help, you can able to do on-time invoicing. And then there are other automations available. For example, let's say you have a fixed renewal or subscription type of thing, right? So you can create a protocol or the rule within that application where you can able to issue invoice 30 days before a renewal. So these kind of thing, again, depends on your business, depends on what kind of product or services you are providing. You can able to automate the invoicing. Let it be a subscription, let it be service, let it be a goods, let it be you receive order and then you do delivery. You can able to do a on-prompt automated invoicing. Again, these systems will get automated, but it will be overseen by the user. So this free up his time, also make sure that it is done on a professional way. Now, the other challenge we saw was unclear payment terms. So this is one of important aspect. So this is something, as I said in the beginning, is a very simple strategy, but often overlooked by the business. So it is essential to have a clear payment terms, depends on your customer. Within business, you might have different type of customers. Let's say if you take a trading company, you have a whole. Yes, Zuhair?
There is slight disturbance in your audio. Can you please check it?
Okay, which part you heard last?
No, we can hear you, but there's a slight disturbance. It keeps cutting on and off, but it is clear from this slide.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, were you able to hear on this slide or?
Yeah, we were able to hear on this slide.
Okay, so let me start from here. Is it okay now? Is my voice okay now? Are you able to hear me clearly?
Yeah, it is better now. Okay.
Okay. Again, sorry for the interruption. I will start from the beginning once again. So this is one of the strategies that often overlooked by the business when it comes to receivable management, which is having a clear payment terms, right? Most of the companies, they have a payment terms mentioned in the invoice, and that's it. There is no other policy in the company to enforce a certain credit policy or terms. So what a company can do, right? So what we can do is you can create a template of payment policy. So as a running business, right, you can look at your high performing customer who is always paying on time, and you can look at a customer who is not paying you on time. There is always delay in his payment. So you can take points from what is happening with that customer, what kind of relationship you have with that customer, what kind of communication you have with that customer, making sure that the payment is happening on time. And then you can have a look at the customer where you are having difficulties. And by comparing these two, you can come up with a profile or a template for a clear payment terms. Now, you can also create a payment terms, depends on the type of customer. See, every business is different, and within a business, every customer is different. It maybe depends on the nationality of the customer, depends on the size of the customer, wholesale, retail, right? So depends on these different attributes, you can come up with a clear payment terms, right? It doesn't have to be very complicated. It has to be a very simple one, right? And the next step on that, once the policy is developed, the next step should be to implement it, right? So for example, by make sure we have a fixed credit days for a customer, that will essentially eliminate any overdue bills, right? Or issuing more invoices when the customer is having a overdue. So by having a credit days, this helps. And then credit limit, again, this controls accidentally invoicing a customer where he have reached his overdue and then have gone over the credit limit. So having these two options, very simple, these options will help the business in reducing their receivable management by a great extent. Okay, so again, this is also available in any applications that you look for, credit days and credit limit, right? And other thing also we will saw is that having the payment terms, having the automated system and everything relies on having a clear communication, right? We saw one of the challenges was poor communication or poor relationship with your customer. So only way or a better way to overcome this issue is to have a clear communication between you and the customer. So if you are a single entity, single person business, if you are directly dealing with the customer, it is essential that you come up with a system in place for which you will use the like in terms of methods for following up, methods for communicating with the customer, methods for setting up the credit limit. And if you have a team, there are people, there are sales people or accountant who are doing the follow-ups, right? You can develop a script. So somebody is familiar with the sales process. A lot of sales people, what they do, they have something called sales script. So this script will actually outlines the communication between the salesman and the prospect. So now as a business, what you can do is, let's say you have a team of accountant or team of sales people following up. What you can do is you can create a sales or a collection script with your customer. So where you will outline that how to call a customer, remind them regarding the payment, what are all the possible response from the customer, and how you can respond to queries or answers that the customer is giving. So again, depends on the business, you can able to create this thing. So now the other point here is, let's say you have multiple people working in your company, and let's say one of that person was able to make sure the payment is happening on time from his customer. Let it be a salesperson, right? Let's say you have 5 salesperson, and one salesperson always making sure that he's getting the payment from customer on time. So what you can do is you can arrange a training session by that salesman with all the other people, or you can look at what that specific individual is doing, and then you can try to replicate that process with the other people's. So this should be there, right? So be clear and concise on your point, and then depends on your customer. This point also we saw before, depending on the nationality, the business size, the type of business, the scale of the business, you should adopt your messaging, right? And then in some cases, like some business might go through a hard time. In those cases, in those exceptional cases, you have to be empathetic and understanding. So this gives you a better relationship with the customer, and then this gives create a loyalty between you and your customers. Now there are other ways, right? So these are the main challenges and how to overcome, but there are some other ways also how you can able to speed up the collection. So one such way is payment facilitators. Nowadays there are multiple facilitators available in Saudi, like for example Tamara, Baseeth, like that. There are multiple facilitators available where you can able to partnership with them, and the customer will buy through them, but you will get the payment time, right? And the processing charges or fees are very considerable, and given that you are getting the payment on time, this helps you with the multiple options. One is it increases the purchasing power of your customer. Okay, let's say you are having an electronic shop, and I came to buy a TV, let's say the cost of TV is 1,500 real, but my buying power is, let's say, 1,000 real only. By using this payment facilitators like Tabby or Tamara, I can able to buy that 1,500 real TV, and I can able to split by payments, right? So this gives your client an option to increase their buying power, so that they will buy higher end product, or they will buy the product which is matching their budget. And the wonderful part in that whole process is that you get the payment, while the facilitator is going to get the payment in dues. Some cases it is equally divided into multiple parts, or sometimes they are getting on their own terms. But as a merchant, as a person who's selling through this facilitators, you will get the payment on time. And then other ways, I would say, is incentivize, right? So for example, this is some of the companies already is following up. Like for example, you can have a incentive for your salespeople. It is internal or external. Sometimes you can also give a cash discount to customers who is paying before their due date, if your business style or if your business nature permits that kind of options. In most of the cases that we have come across is specifically in Saudi is actually for the salespeople, the commission is paid at the time of collection. And once some companies goes beyond one level, and then what they will do is they will incentivize the days it takes for the customer to pay. So let's say as a salesman, I have a 5% commission. If the customer pays within 30 days, I will get 5%. If the customer is taking anywhere between 30 to 60, I will get 4%. Anywhere between 60 to 90, I will get 2.5%. As the days of customer goes more and more, the commission percentage goes down. So now as a salesman, this incentivizes me to make sure payment is always connected on time before the due date, right? So again, as I said, incentive can be internal or external. It can be for your team, or it can be for the customer also. Again, when it comes to matter of customer, it depends on your business, and it depends on the nature of your business. If that can be allowed, it can be done on that also. And then finally, there are other preventive measures, regularly monitoring the reports, right? Looking for potential customers who are on the verge of overdue, right? Looking at customers, we have something called the 10% rule. For example, at any given time, one customer's overall outstanding and the overdue amount should not be more than 10%. Let's say the customer is having an overall 100,000 real outstanding in his books. The overdue amount should not be more than 6, right? These kind of rules, by having these kind of rules, and you can able to prevent customers potentially overduing on their invoices, right? So these are the other ways. Now I would like to open up the session for any question you might have. There is a Q&A button. You can click on that and you can ask your questions so that I can able to answer. And if anybody needs help with creating their own credit terms policy for their customer, you can reach out to this. We can able to help you with that setup. Okay. Any questions?
Actually, I would like to know which of these features are available in Tally that we can use.
Okay. So whatever we have seen so far in terms of automated follow-up or on-prompt invoicing, these are available in Tally as add-ons. This is and credit limit and credit terms are available in the default product itself. You can able to set credit limit, credit dues, credit days, and then you can able to enroll or make sure there is no other sale is happened once the customer reaches the credit limit. Also, you can check during invoicing if there is any overdue invoices are there for the customer. These are available as a default option in Tally. And the automated follow-ups and automated invoicing are available as a additional add-on, where you can able to set reminders, frequency of follow-up, the mode of follow-up, and you can able to monitor and overview all those things. So that is available as part of Academia. Okay, I don't think we have any other questions now. So I think we would wrap the session now. Once again, thank you for your presence here. We really value you being here for this webinar, and this is a new business webinar we have started doing. So this is going to be a series of webinars where we are going to focus on not just on Tally, but in the overall aspects of the business. I hope that you might take away something from this webinar and implement in your company in terms of managing your receivables. And this goes without saying, if you need any help with that, please reach out to your consultants. They will be happily help you with this setup. That's it from my side. I will hand it over to Zohair now.
Yeah, now that we have covered the topic and addressed questions that you may have, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out and ask. So it's time to wrap up. Thank you again for joining us today. And before we say goodbye, if you know any businesses that might find our webinars useful and help them to ease their business transactions and everything, please do tell them about us. We always want to grow our community and help more people as we have helped you and shall continue helping you. We wish you all a successful business here. See you at the next one. Thank you.